know you, like you said, you ended up kind of becoming more of a specialty player, but at the same time, you're going out at times as a receiver. Did it impact you at all, just because the whole situation, the influx at quarterback, where Quincy was supposed to be the guy, and then you got Chad Hutchinson, then you got Ryan Leafs coming in, you got all these different things. How much did that impact the receivers during that time period?
Well, Anthony Wright, yeah, Clint Sterner. I didn't really see it as a big issue. I guess because I wasn't the main focus at receiver. Now, mind you, if you ask Emmett and if you ask a lot of the players, I should have been one of the top receivers. Mark, I was showing my entire ass in practice. And I want to tell you this as well. This is when I knew that no matter how good I did, I wasn't going to be a top receiver. I remember I was like Joey was the one in front of me, basically. So I backed him up. So I remember in practice, Joey would come out and I would go in with the first team and I would be catching everything, Mark. I'm talking about on number one DBs. Everyone saw this kid here is not a regular, this dude is a receiver. But then come game day, Joey would put me in when it's time to block. So on like run plays, he tap out, come get me. So at first I'm just happy to get in and be on TV. I can go home and see the highlights, see myself on TV because I was still new to the whole TV thing. After a while, I was like, man, this is some BS. So we was in practice one day. He tried to tell me to get in. And my attitude wasn't the best back then. So this day I just went off on Joey. I cussed him out, man, F you, you overpaid mother, just going off. Everybody could hear it. And so I was like, I'm not going in. You stay your lazy, overpaid ass in there. And so Coach Campo said, hey, come here. Come here now. So I walk over there. I'm like, man, what's up, Coach? He said, come to the side. So we got to the side where nobody could hear us. He said, you want to know why he's playing and you're not? I said, yeah, tell me, because everybody can see the film. The coaches see the film. The players see the film. I ain't getting no run on Sundays, and I'm showing y'all I can do it. He says, because Jerry pays him $7 million a year. At that point, I knew no matter how good I did, I wasn't going to play unless he got hurt. So then at that point, you want to get your shine. So I'm not wishing for no serious injury, but I'm like, man, I wish he would just, pull a hamstring or a groin or something where I can get in there and show what I can do. That's when I knew it took some of the love I had for the game. Because you always taught that, you work hard, you're going to play. You work your ass off. I never knew that that's the way it was, the business side of it. No matter how well he did or didn't do, he was getting paid $7 million a year. And from a business standpoint, I understand if Jerry is paying a guy $7 million, you want your money's worth.
I think it also became personal in the sense for Jerry because he gave up so much to get Joey. So it's a mix of what he's paying him, and then he was being judged on that trade, saying they gave, the Cowboys had given up way too much to get him. He got hurt early when he joined the Cowboys, and I think Jerry was constantly trying to say, this guy is going to be great for us. So even like you said, you could go out and do everything you could in practice, but it was like there was such an investment in Joey Galloway. Right.
And as I got older and look back on it, I understood it. It's a business. Mm-hmm. And that's what most of the fans just see it as a game. But no one sees what goes on in the off season. We are in the building and we're seeing the business part of it. You're seeing guys come and go. I never forget, we had a guy that got cut on a plane ride back home after we got beat by Atlanta. He was a snapper. He had a bad snap, and Tim Cedar missed the field goal, and we lost the game. And on the plane ride back from Atlanta, he got cut. That's the part that people don't see is you see a grown man crying on the plane because that's his last plane ride with the Cowboys. And so it's fun and games to all of the fans. But to us in the building, we see all the politics. We see all the BS. And unless you're a guy that's in a position like Dak Prescott or Zeke Elliott where you're good, you're not going anywhere, it's the guys like me that go through all the BS, the politics and everything.
You had that huge game against Philly. I was hoping you could speak a little bit about that, and how much did that help kind of like assist your career and get people to say, who is this number 80? Who is this guy?
That was my second year. That was the third game of the year. I had pulled my hamstring the last preseason game against Carolina, and I missed the first game. I forget who our first game was against.
Houston,
Houston.
right?
Yeah. So I remember I was sitting home watching that game. That was embarrassing, man. To come in the locker room that Tuesday or Wednesday, that Monday after that game, it was like a funeral, man. We got beat by the expansion team. So then that second game,
Dallas versus Houston.
Yeah. And then that second game was against Steve McNair and the Titans. And I was supposed to have been dressed in that game. And I didn't because they felt like my hamstring wasn't ready. So third game, we go to Philly. And they kicked the ball off to me. It was my first time touching the ball. And I ran back 100-yard, return. And that was one of the roughest games for me, physical-wise, man. Philly, they beat me up that game. I mean, I took some shots that game. I took 3 shots that game that made me question, do I really want to do this anymore? That game was very physical for me. People knew who I was after that game, but, man, I found out in my second year how physical that game really could be.
You paid a price that game.
I did. I got hit twice by the same guy, Sheldon Brown, and then Brian Dawkins face matched me real bad and twisted my neck all the way around on a screenplay. And I remember Darren Woodson said, for a small guy, you tough as nails. He said, I'll go to battle with you any day. I'll never forget that, man.
I like playing for Coach Campo. Like, I know he was obviously, like, during the Jimmy Johnson era, he was more of a defensive coach and everything, and then he's put in charge of everything. What was it like playing for Coach Campo?
Well, for me, it was still new because I didn't know the political part up front. Into my second year is when I started to realize that when players make more than the coach, some player don't really respect that coach. When the player make more than the coach. And so that's when I started to into my second year is when I started to see all of the other stuff outside of football. My first year was a blur. I came in this hot new first year guy, special teams guru, making my media runs. All that was new. My head was spinning. Like my first year was such a blur. I don't have a lot of memory of that because I was being pulled by every just hot new guy in town. Our offense sucks. This guy gave us instant offense, put the ball in his hands, and it was just like media. Not till my second year, I started to realize, man, there's a lot of BS going on behind football that I don't like. And after Coach Campbell told me that, it took a lot of my drive away.